Hello everybody, it's Ashapar here on Kerbal Space Program. Recording this because I've been on it a lot recently and I tend to prefer to record what I'm playing because it's more enjoyable for me, as you know. Quick note, exam week is almost over. I have 3 more left, 2 tomorrow and 1 the day afterwards. Then I have a week off, then I have 2 more the week after that and I'm all done. So I've done about 14-15 tests so far and hopefully it's all gone well, and if not, well... Anyway. Kerbal Space Program, you can have mods on it, as we all know, and one of those mods is the Kethane mod, and I noticed that there's not actually that many tutorials for it on YouTube, or at least none that will fully really explain it. So, I'm making myself a mission, and that mission is to teach myself how to do it, and to then show you guys, and so far I've got stage 1 complete. Okay, so, we may or may not know that Kethane is basically a fuel you can mine up, or an unprocessed fuel, and you mine it up, and then you process it, and you can use it for fuel in your spaceships, which, it's like, why the hell is that important? Well, if you go to the Moon, you can take an extraordinarily large ship, land it, land it, and if you don't have enough fuel, you can just dig some up and make it some fuel, and fly back home for that extra lovely science. Now, to make this a little bit more realistic, I'm actually doing this in career mode, so none that much is unlocked. Okay, so let's show you. This right here is my little Kethane scanner. I'll show you how to build this guy and put him into orbit momentarily. But I'm going to show you what he does. So if I click this little button down here, a little grid appears on the planet. And these little white dots are where my scanner has currently scanned. So, why is this important? Well, as you can see here, little green dots are appearing, and you can see it says that there's 385,180.4, I'm guessing, units or litres or hopefully tons of fuel under the surface, and that can be used for our spaceships. So I'm gonna put a little one of these scanners into orbit to show you guys how it's done, and that'll be part 1, hopefully. Also, one note I should put is that I am using a few other mods. One of the main ones that you'll probably see in this video is, what's it called? KW Rocketry, I believe it is. It'll be in the description, hopefully, if I remember. So, this is the Kethane scanner, and I'll very quickly show you how I built it. So, because this is a satellite type of thing, I don't really want a Kerbal in it, it'd be a waste of resources. So, we've got the very common normal satellite probe, we've got the little Kethane scanner on the top, which I believe is under science. Yep, there it is. Solar panels, a lot of them, because this thing needs power because it is a satellite and you will be going around the dark side of the moon. If you have, damn it, what's it called? Nuclear decaying reactor thing, I can't remember. Use that because then you can go and do the entire map. Batteries, which I don't have on the other probes, is actually an upgrade. You'll want your little, damn it, inline reaction wheel, because this will definitely help. Because satellites have very bad gyroscopes inside them, what we're going to call it. I'm always forgetting this. We are then using the FLT800 fuel tank with more solar panels going along the side of it and more fins. And I believe, yes, the small little engine, who I want to say the name, the LV909 engine. Decoupler, another one of the large fuel tanks, followed by a small one with the T45 engine, another SAS unit, inline reaction wheel to keep it stabilised. 4 boosters with nose cones to make them more aerodynamic, then a second lot, then another lot. After the T45 engine, by the way, there's another big fuel tank with a smaller fuel tank and a KW Rocketry rocket, which is the KW Rocketry Maverick 1D. So, now that we've got all that over the way, I guess we should launch it. So, let's go. Okay guys, so I have turned the volume down very low because this thing would kill you otherwise because of how loud these engines are. So, yeah, let's go. So we're going to slowly take off, not throttle it back to maximum because we do have these rocket boosters. Also, I've got clouds, very thick clouds installed, as you may have seen earlier. We want to get a little bit of height, and as the engine starts to run a bit lower on fuel, boost up the thrust. And instead, most people, you know, they turn that direction. I can't remember what direction it is. I think it's east or west. Never east. Yep, east, I presume. And when they do that, you know, you go into a orbit which goes around the planet. But we want to go into a polar orbit like this one. I'll explain to you why that is after later. But that does mean instead of, you know, well, yeah, so we'll want to turn away from us or towards us depending on just what way you want to have your polar orbit. So I'm going to max up to maximum now. Actually a bit low because we are leaving the atmosphere, it would be a bit waste of fuel. Ditch. Okay, so let's try this again. Now that this thing runs out, I drop them, boost up, and let's continue using this fuel. When we hit 10 kilometers, we will start to head a little bit to the north. And wait for it. Okay, there we go. Let's head about. We'll go about 30 degrees or so. Yeah, it's about 30 degrees. This thing doesn't have that much thrust, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. And now something we do. Let's just turn off the engine completely in a bit of fuel. Because we need it. We need it pretty damn good. So you can see here we're starting to go into the polar orbit that we required. I'm going to drop down a little bit just so we gain a little bit more up to the topness. I'm not the best for technical words. Please excuse. I've just noticed we can actually see Minmus in the distance over there. That's nice. Okay. So, we've actually got a very high periapsis, so I'm actually going to cut the engines. Quick save, just so I don't have to redo the launch again. Check that this is turned off. It is, and I'm just going to time warp a little bit up to the top. And if you may or may not know, but waiting till you're at the apoapsis is one of the most efficient times to use your fuel up when it comes to moving, well, doing a maneuver. So, still waiting. Still waiting. Okay, we're out of the atmosphere, I guess, so now is a good time to do it. So we'll want to aim north, because we've got a pretty good altitude as it is, and burn. And by doing this, we more or less make this a bit further. I really don't know how to say any of this. And we may want to pull up a little bit just to keep, you know, things pretty high, which we haven't done anyway. So as you can see here, my orbit is a little to the right here. You know, I can't print all the. Okay, if you look at the little nav ball, I'm going to the left, and you can now see that this is correcting the little blue guy, and then when it gets good enough, yeah, a bit further. There we go. I'll then bring it back and set it back to the north. There we go. So now we can just watch this nice relaxing burn for a little bit. Also at this point, if you think you'll have enough power, you can turn on the detector. Or L1, it does use up quite a lot of power, but thankfully I've got an engine and solar panels at the same time. So I don't seem to have that problem right now. As you can see, we're almost going to be getting into an orbit soon. Oh, and I've just realised you can see the acceleration here has gone to nil. So we need to ditch our stage, which means thankfully that won't stay in orbit now. And now we can continue. So I guess a 100 kilometer orbit each way is a pretty good number to go for. As long as we're outside the atmosphere completely, it's all good. So there we go, out of the atmosphere. And I'm actually going to put myself in a larger orbit than usual, and that's because this other orbit here has been, I think it's about, how much is it? Let's have a quick look. Altitude, yeah, it's 100,000 orbit on both sides, apoapsis and periapsis. And so far it's only got these lines, and it never actually appears to be getting any closer. It just sits there. So I'm hoping by putting myself in a higher orbit that I am able to... Oh, I'll tell you what those little beeps are in a second. That's actually the Kethane detector scanning for Kethane. And it's telling me, nope, not got nothing, bruh. So, let's take this up a little bit, and I'd say 150 is a good number to go for. Shouldn't be too hard. There we go. Now we'll just wait a bit. There we go. Getting a few of the things, kind of. Well, not really, are we? Look at this, we're actually still conserving power so I can scan the dark side of the planet now at the same time, which beforehand I couldn't do. And one tip for scanning, if you keep it on triple speed, then you will get everything that it goes over, but 4 times speed, you won't. And 2 times speed is a bit too slow. I'm actually testing to see, I think I can get all the way around the planet and start generating electricity before I run out of power, which is really good to know. Because this other satellite can't do that. Anyway, I'm going to get down to the 1000, I'm going to get down to my apoapsis, then raise my periapsis up to 1000, I give up, 150,000 meters. Yep, that's the right number. And I'll see where we go there, because then I actually believe this might be a conclusion to the video, which is fun. Okay, there we go. Now let's turn around. We made it through the night as well, so this is actually a pretty decent thing. Yeah, pretty decent thing. Okay, and now we raise it. It's just so we go around at a constant speed, you know, to just try and do stuff, which is good. Because if we go around at a constant speed, then we are more likely to basically do what we want to do, to get all the planet. But if it was an uneven way, it could be beneficial, it could be not beneficial. It depends how I set it up, but I'm going to put it in a nice equal orbit-ish. Oh, 1 meter off of 150,000 meters, oh well. So now this thing can happily orbit away. Let's look at the sun, get my solar panels set up decently close. There we go. And now this little guy just aims at the planet and scans it as we go over. So I'll very quickly show it doing its job. We'll look for the things beeping. There we go. Kethane detected. We missed the other one, unfortunately, just out of range. Hopefully we'll get some of these just to see if there's anything. There we go. The beeping may be a little quiet, but it is possible to turn it off if it does annoy you by simply coming up to the machine, right-clicking on it, and of course it doesn't want to let me. Let's start on time. There we go. You've got deactivate detector, that's so it stops using power, or disable scan tone, that makes it silent. So that's how you scan for Kethane. Possibly in the next tutorial we'll look at mining it up, or processing it, or both. You never know. Because, in all honesty, I haven't got that far yet. And one other thing we should quickly do is I'll show you whereabouts the Kethane is in the science tree. And I believe it's this little light bulb here. Yep, here we go. It's Science Tech, and it's there. The KES-210 Compact Survey Unit. And it also comes at the same time as the batteries, so it's pretty useful. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please like, favorite, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.